If Telltale's 2015 lineup of Game of Thrones and Borderlands episodic choose-your-own-adventure games aren't really your thing, you might want to check out Life is Strange, an episodic adventure game by Don't Nod Entertainment, the same developers as Capcom's forgotten and somewhat ironically titled game Remember Me. The first episode of Life is Strange came out this week, and while this is far from a complete experience as there's still 4 more episodes on the way, I did kind of want to talk about certain aspects of the game that I really liked, and other aspects that had me rolling my eyes. Don't worry though, I'm not going to spoil anything major about the story, I just want to share some thoughts about the game. The game's main character is Max Caulfield, an 18-year-old photography nerd who has found herself back in her hometown of Arcadia Bay, attending the prestigious private high school Blackwell Academy for her final year of schooling. After a rather traumatic incident about 10 minutes into the game, Max discovers that she can turn back time, which may come in handy considering all the apocalyptic dreams she's been having of late. The first episode's main plot revolves around Max reuniting with her old BFF after cutting contact with her for 5 years. The game does an amazing job of making these interactions as awkward and a tad angst-filled as possible. They do a great job of showing that Max is far from blameless and has some tremendous flaws as a character.
Oh please, I'm sure your phone and laptop were frozen in time.
I found the most interesting mystery of the game to be the subplot about Rachel Amber, a girl who had disappeared 6 months prior to the start of the story, and the rumors and relationships she had with the ancillary cast of the game. Everyone seems to know something about Rachel, and the first episode of Life is Strange does a fantastic job teasing you about who knows what and where the storyline may be headed. The time travel gameplay is interesting, but I feel it adds very little to the actual game. All the puzzles in Life is Strange use it in the exact same way. You make a mistake, turn back time to solve the puzzle knowing how to react in the correct way. I don't really like these kind of puzzles, and I'm not sure if this mechanic can carry the game for 4 more episodes. The issue is that these puzzles are just too easy. Not brain-dead easy, but the kind of easy that makes you feel like the developers are flattering you for figuring out their simple mechanic. That being said, Don't Nod Entertainment has already added more puzzles to this one episode than what Telltale has put into their entire Walking Dead series and Wolf Among Us combined. The one thing I really enjoyed out of the time travel mechanic is that the player can reverse their game-changing choices with just an easy rewind. If you ever felt not entirely sure if a choice was exactly the choice you wanted to make, the game generously allows you to redo it until you find the most satisfying choice. There are a number of times in Telltale games where I wish they had been more clear with their choices, and I applaud Don't Nod Entertainment for adding such a nifty feature.
Would Man Ray call them selfie portraits? Cartier-Bresson, Doisneau, Hamilton, the greatest. Philip Lorca de Corsia, my man. I don't think I could take my camera to those places. Look at that shot. I love Julia Cameron's Victorian vibe. Talk about analog cameras. Ah, Dolly, what a fantastic eye. He could truly freeze time.
The absolute biggest problem I have with Life is Strange is how pretentious it can be. Max loves photography and photographers. Most of her time actually in class is during a photography class. A number of people she can talk to are also into photography. Photography is going to come up in conversation, sure, but the issue I have with how they treat photography is that it feels like the writer is just name-dropping. I know very little about photography, and when the name-dropping of famous photographers started less than 5 minutes into the game, I was kind of hoping that maybe the game would try to clue in some of the more uninformed players about who these people were. I just wanted maybe a little menu in the game that would give me some basic bullet point information on some of the people they name dropped. They don't do that. It's just streams of names, probably to hammer over the player's head that Max loves photography and photographers. One part of the game has Max talking to a student about The Falling Soldier by Robert Capa, and how Max loved the picture, despite how controversial it was. I had to Google that shit to find out what they were talking about. I appreciate that a video game got me to check something out that I had no prior knowledge of, but how many people who didn't know about Robert Capa did that while playing this game? It's pretentious, and I can't help but think that the writer just did some basic wiki research when writing some of this dialogue. There's never any context to the name dropping they do. It's just like they did it to look smart. They do it again later with movies too, name dropping Cannibal Holocaust. Now, unlike photography, I've actually seen Cannibal Holocaust, so my ears perked up when they mentioned it. They don't do anything with the name dropping of the movie. You could have put any other movie title instead of Cannibal Holocaust and the scene would have played exactly the same. Did they just use that title because of how ear-catching it is? Were all the photography references done for the same reason? If one reference was just lazy, were all the other ones as well? Despite all these nitpicky criticisms I've given the game, I want to say that Life is Strange has accomplished a number of things that has made me eagerly anticipate its upcoming episodes. Its story is engaging and way more intricate than what I was expecting to play. Its world and characters feel real, barring the time travel, of course. And you know what? I really liked the game's choice of music. It meshes with the game exceedingly well. I don't know if I'll do another video for episode 2, but I think I'll make a video with my thoughts when the whole story has reached its final conclusion. Thank you for watching.
Why don't you go fuck yourselfie?